Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into some brand new survey data that really gets to the heart of a question I think every single one of us in the dive industry has asked. Are we in a crisis, or are we actually sitting on a massive opportunity? The answers you're about to see, well, they might just change how you think about your business and our industry's entire future.
This quote from an instructor really just hits home, doesn't it? It's a feeling we all know deep down. We can't grow our businesses, we can't keep people diving if they don't leave their training feeling confident and, actually having fun. It really is that simple.
Look, we all got into this because we love being in the water. That's a given. But let's be real, passion doesn't pay the rent. The data we're about to unpack suggests there's a pretty serious disconnect between our love for diving and the way we're actually forced to do business. So, let's figure out what is really going on here.
So where does this all start? Well, the survey data points to a problem that, frankly, none of us will be surprised by. But the sheer scale of it, that might shock you.
The survey kicked things off with a pretty simple statement, that the quality of service varies a lot between different dive centers, even if they're flying the exact same agency flag.
And just look at this response. It is almost completely unanimous. This isn't one group pointing fingers at another. Owners, instructors, and, our own customers, we're all saying the same thing. This lack of consistency isn't just a perception. It's a shared reality for all of us.
And here's the bottom line. This stuff has real-world consequences. When a new diver has one bad experience, it doesn't just reflect on that one shop. It erodes trust in all of us. It's what stops them from booking that dive trip. And it's what feeds that huge diver dropout rate we all hate talking about.
Okay, so we're all on the same page about the problem. But the million-dollar question is, why? Why is this happening? The survey really digs into the root causes, and it starts with a topic that, well, we probably don't talk about enough.
The survey didn't pull any punches. It went right in and asked a very direct question to dive pros. Are you actually making a good living from your passion for scuba diving? And the answers? They're tough to look at.
Just take a second to let this sink in. For instructors, the number is just stark. Over 86%. We're talking almost 9 out of every 10 instructors are saying they are not making a good living. So how can we possibly expect consistent, top-tier performance when the vast majority of our frontline pros are struggling to get by?
And before anyone thinks this is just an instructor issue, look at the owners. Yeah, it's a little bit better, but you still have nearly 3/4 of dive shop owners saying they're not making what they'd consider a good living. This isn't a case of owners getting rich off of instructors. This is a systemic, industry-wide financial problem.
And that financial pressure is what drives so much of the problem, When you're worried about making rent next month, the temptation to rush a course or maybe skip a piece of gear maintenance, that becomes a very real and frankly dangerous pressure. But it's not the only thing going on.
The data also shows this huge gap in support. Professionals feel like the agency quality assurance systems aren't just failing to make sure divers have a good time. And this is the shocking part. Over 61% feel it's not even enough to ensure safety. At the exact same time, you've got owners and instructors practically begging for more customer service and business training. The message here is crystal clear. We feel under-supported and under-equipped.
Okay, I know. This all paints a pretty grim picture. It sounds like we're just in a race to the bottom, where everyone's forced to compete on price just to stay afloat. But stick with me, because this is where the data gets really, really exciting. This is where we find a massive, counterintuitive opportunity that's been hiding in plain sight. This is the question that defines our business model, right? We all feel that pressure. We see a competitor down the street advertising some rock-bottom price, and we just assume that's the only game in town. But what if that entire assumption is just wrong?
Because it is wrong. Let this number sink in for a second. 87.4% of divers say they are willing to pay more for a better dive instructor. They are not shopping for the cheapest certification card. They're shopping for the best, most confidence-inspiring experience. We are fighting a price war that our customers never asked us to be in.
And this diver just says it all, doesn't he? The value they're looking for isn't the piece of plastic they get at the end. It's the feeling of competence. It's the confidence to actually go diving with a buddy. It's the ability to truly enjoy being underwater. They want to be divers, not just survivors.
So if our customers are not only ready, but eager to pay more for real value, what could a new, value-focused business model actually look like? Well, the survey explored a few really fascinating ideas.
So
The survey contrasted two models. On one side, you have what most of us do now, the course seller. It's transactional, right? You sell a fixed package, you're focused on price, and the goal is the card sale. But on the other side, there's this new idea, the Scuba coach. This model is all about the relationship. You're selling your time and your expertise to build real mastery and competence.
And here's the wild part. We, as instructors, are totally ready for this shift. A huge majority would actually prefer to move to this coaching model. It would let us spend the time we need to create truly great divers, instead of just rushing to meet a rigid course timeline.
And this whole value-based approach opens up all these other doors too. There's a clear demand for a more high-end agency, one that actually enforces strong standards. And get this, nearly half of our current divers are already doing other water sports. We have this huge untapped market sitting right in our own customer database to become complete water sports destinations.
All right, so let's pull all of this together. What is the one single biggest takeaway from all of this data? It all comes down to one fundamental disconnect.
This is the paradox that's at the very heart of our industry. We're stuck in a business model that forces us to constantly undercut each other on price while our customers are literally standing right there, wallets out, asking for a better, higher quality experience.
Just think about what that really means for a second. The hardest part of any business is creating demand. We don't have that problem. The market for premium, high-quality, confidence-building dive training isn't something we need to go out and build from scratch. It's already here. It's just waiting for us to actually serve it.
So this survey, it doesn't just point out problems. It gives us a clear mandate for change. It puts the power and the opportunity squarely in our hands, as owners, as instructors, as the people who will define the future of this industry. And it leaves us with one last, very powerful question we all need to ask ourselves.